Next, we have Dale Shen. The purpose of the speech is to entertain or amuse. The speech title, Passion, the Downfall of Many. This will be a 7 to 9 minutes speech. And this is from the Advanced Manual, Storytelling Manual Project on the floor. Dave would like to be introduced as we all have a variety of friends. Some who are normal and others that we talk about. Dale will tell you about one of his friends that is talked about. Please help me welcome Dale.
Fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests. Tonight I want to tell you about a long-lost friend of mine. I lost touch with him a few years ago, and only recently he re-entered my life. He gave me a call not too long ago, a few days ago, that he was in town on a brief layover on his way to Asia. And this was the first time I heard from him in a few years. And so of course I said, yes, let's meet up. We decided to have dinner, and so we met. And we started with small talk. I showed him pictures of my family, my wife and 2 kids, and bragged about them a little bit. And he didn't have any family to show, but he told me that after he left the city, he went to the East Coast, enrolled in an MBA program, graduated, got hired by a multinational corporation, and now was consulting all over the place, all over the world. And he was on his way to Asia and had a brief layover, and that's how we met. So this guy, he disappeared a few years ago. He's one of those guys that you talk about with your other friends. He was real character. He was like a scoundrel. He was always pulling pranks. He drank the most, smoked the most. He was a smooth talker. He never had a date. But every time we went out somewhere, he went home with somebody. And his relationships were very short. Very short. He liked it that way. And he was going to be a lawyer. And we all thought he's going to be a perfect lawyer. He's going to make a lot of money. So we were all surprised one day when all of it stopped. No more smoking, no more drinking, no more women. The biggest shock was, instead of law school, he decided to go to seminary. Seminary where you become a preacher, not a lawyer, a preacher. And so we joked around with him, you found a more profitable way to exploit people, didn't you? And we gave him a hard time about it. But it was real. He was asking us to go to the inner city on what he called outreaches. We were too scared to go. He asked us to help make care packages for the homeless, make backpacks full of school supplies for kids in need. There was a women's conference at the church he was going to that needed volunteers to waiter for this conference. It was miraculous and unbelievable, this transformation. So he went to seminary, he graduated after a few years. He got a gig, I don't know what better to call it, at a church leading a ministry. And he smooth talked us into coming to his church on Sundays to listen to him speak. We all, the group of us, our friends, we went. We were kind of curious and we kind of expected to see a disaster. But his messages were good. They resonated with us. He spoke about having purpose and having courage and hope in your darkest days, about redemption. And it must have resonated with a lot of people because more and more people were coming to this church. There were a lot of pretty young women who came dressed like they just came from a party or actually wanted to take him out to a party afterwards. There were a lot of guys. I think they heard from somebody who had been through a lot of things and figured out things and knew his way around. He didn't sound like our dads or our bosses. He sounded like somebody we could trust and follow. And after church, there was always a throng of people around him. If you go to church, pastors will come out and they'll greet everybody. There's always a big mob around them. Everybody wanted to talk to him. One time there was this young couple. They were from different parts of the Midwest. Young, beautiful, genuine and pure. Somehow they met in this huge city. They told him they were looking for a church to make their own church. They had been looking for a long time. And they think they finally found it. The guy was hanging on to my friend, the pastor, his every word. The girl even more so. They decided to go to his weeknight Bible study that he was hosting. And I think that was when the end began. So, like a light that you can't hide, you could just see that this girl was enthralled with my friend, the pastor. And that did not sit well with her fiance. He was naturally jealous. He stopped coming to the meetings. After a while, he stopped coming on Sundays too. She kept coming though, to both meetings. Of course, they were engaged. They weren't married, so they weren't quite living together, being the upright folks that they were, or trying to be upright folks. And at the meetings, it was so obvious that she was so taken with him, and things were developing quite nicely between them. Even though, she was engaged. You just can't help human nature and human contact. Then there were some rumors one night their presence couldn't be accounted for after the meeting. And they just thought it was coincidence and was forgotten. A few weeks later, my friend called an end to the weeknight study groups. Suddenly. No reason, really. A few Sundays after that, the young Midwestern girl, instead of going into the service, waited outside the whole time. With big glassy eyes. Church ended, everybody came out, and she was waiting patiently for everyone to kind of leave. You couldn't help but notice her, like on the verge of tears over there. Everyone kind of got the picture and left. So I was one of the last to leave, and as I was leaving, I looked over my shoulder. I saw my friend walking over to her. He didn't say a word, but just kind of caressed her cheek. And she just burst into tears. He collapsed into his arms. That was the last I saw until recently. So we finished our dinner. We were up to our third drink by now. My friend had returned to his ways. And finally the question came. He asked me, so do you know anything about her? Is she still around? And I had heard some rumors that the engagement was called off, that she became pregnant. She was going to have the baby, but she had a miscarriage. So she was just heartbroken and lost. Of course, I didn't say this. I was thinking about it. Should I say this or not? My friend just continued. He said, I tried my hardest to live a good life, to live the way that I learned I should live, to live a life that's good and pleasing to God. But I just couldn't help it. I had such a passion for her. I couldn't resist. Neither did she. Later, she told me that she loved me, that she was pregnant. I knew her and I knew him. I knew that was true. I knew that it was my kid, as my friend said. I almost wanted to tell her to have an abortion, but I didn't. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't have this on me now. And I didn't want to commit at this time. So I left. And after I left, I thought about other people who fell from grace because of their passion. And I realized I had failed too. And after a while, I came back. I tried to find her if I could. then he asked me, did she have a baby? And I shook my head no, because either way it was true, even though I didn't know for sure. And at that moment, I wished I had remembered the messages he gave us of purpose, of courage, of hope in your darkest days, of redemption. And I wish I could have told his messages back to him at that time. But all I could do was offer some feeble, it's okay, do what you had to do. I'm sure she's fine. With that, he had to catch his flight.